Hello, crafty friends. Happy Saturday. Welcome to Stamp and Create with Beth. I'm Beth Roy, an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator. So let's pull up my video here. Say good morning when you pop in. If you are watching on the replay, please say good morning. Tell us where you're watching from. And if you're watching over on YouTube, watching the replay, say hi as well. Good morning, Maggie. I'm gonna move my mat up just a little bit here. Oh, sorry about that. I shook everything. Good morning, Joan. So today I want to make a Christmas card. Now, I know for many people it is way too early, and I feel you because it's summertime and I like to kind of craft in the season. I enjoy summer colors and just fun things that come with summer. But Christmas in July is a thing. You know, that means we have 6 months until, is that right? No. 5 months until Christmas. And a lot of people do like to start their cards early. I'm always one of those people that say I'm going to do that, and then I never get really into it. But today we're going to jump into my stash. I have not bought any new Christmas stamps yet. There was a release that was in July and had some Christmassy things in it. But I am holding out for the mini catalog that will be coming in September. I get to have a sneak peek at that as a demonstrator at the end of this month. So I'm holding out for some new goodies. But I have lots of winter and Christmas favorites that I have kept over the years. So good morning, Linda. So I am going to use some of my favorites from my stash. Now I have many favorites. I just can't help it. I think there's so many different things, different images. I love different fonts, different sayings. So I tend to collect lots of things. And once I really, really like something, I keep those in my stash. So you guys ready to see the cards I made? And I'm also curious, raise your hand in the comments if you make your Christmas cards during the summer. Now, I know some of you do, and I applaud you. And I actually have tons of Christmas cards that I've made over the years. And sometimes I have extras, so I do have a little stash going of cards saved up. So, here's card number 1. And guess what? We're doing what do we call this? A trifold? We're doing a trifold card today. So I love this set. So let me tell you what I used on this card, because guess what? You guys are going to be choosing which one we make. So on this one, I used the Peaceful Cabin. I absolutely love this set. I love the look of the trees. I love the little fox and the fence and the cabin. It doesn't really have a Merry Christmas in it, but May You Enjoy the Peace of This Beautiful Season, I think, is wonderful. It really kind of embraces any season that or any holiday that you're celebrating in the winter. And here in the U.S., especially where I live, we typically do have snow for the Christmas season. Hello, Xana. Oh, it's been a while. How are you? So you don't think about it either. Yeah, I tend to just craft in the season. And sometimes I do things like a month or two ahead. Like I don't I don't know. My brain doesn't always think that way. But I'm curious, Xana, what is the weather like in the winter where you live? I don't know if it's similar to here in the US, but I'm curious. So this is what I used on this card. And I just used one stamp set on this. Now, on the next one, I used a couple. So the colors on this are probably a little different than you would normally use for Christmas. I used Secret Sea, Cloud Cover, and Old Olive. And there is a little, I stamped this in gray granite, and I used a little bit of Crumb Cake blends and light gray granite blends just to add some brown in there for my cabin. Good morning, Deb. Maggie, you finished yours? I know you're one of the people that I'm always thinking she is done, and that is awesome. I really, really wish I could be. Actually, if I went through my stash, I may have enough. Linda, yours are done too? You guys are awesome. Awesome. Well, maybe you'll want to do a couple more after you see these. So there's card 1. And then here's my second card. It's a trifold again, but I used some different dies. Let me grab those really quick. I forgot to bring them over. So, okay, sorry about that. So these rectangles are the textured notes dies, and they have all different, let me get rid of the glare there, all different textures on the end of the rectangle. So this one, I didn't use as many layers. The first one, I used those everyday arches. Love, 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 love these dies. So I hadn't used these very much, and I decided that this would be great. So I love this. Ooh, Joan, yes, Yuletide Village. You know, that's definitely one of my all-time favorite sets as well. I loved that set. I do have it. It requires a lot of coloring, so I didn't pull it out today, but I made many, many, many cards with that one. Aw, Xana, yeah, that's how it is here too. Wet, cold, windy. Sometimes we get snow. Last year we got snow. Sometimes we don't, but we always get the cold. Oh, nice, Linda. So you made yours right after Christmas and you just have some left over. That's awesome too. So this one, again, trifold, and I used a couple different sets, and you'll probably see I used different fonts. I used all kinds of different things. So this one was the Christmas Barn, and it had dies. I love this set. Okay, I have used this many, many times, and I like when I invest my money into something, bundles, these aren't cheap. I like to know that I can use them lots of times. So I've used this barn, even though it's called Christmas Barn. I've used it for fall. I've used it for all the seasons. And I love this little sleigh, horse and sleigh here. And for my trees, I brought in another one of my favorites. I know you're thinking, how many favorites can you have? I have a lot. So, Peaceful Evergreens. I love the look of these trees. They're some of my favorites. I love tree stamps. So I used those in my background because I wanted something a little more than this. When this stamps, it is not real full. And so this is a pretty stamp if you're just wanting your barn and a tree, but I wanted a fuller tree. So I brought this in. So you may have some of these in your stash. Oh, thank you, Xana, for sharing. Good morning, Christy. It is beautiful outside. We were going to get up early and hike, but, well, it didn't happen. So we love hiking, even in the winter. Okay, so you may have these in your stash, and I want to give you some new ideas. So let me tell you where these came from. So I pulled out my paper pumpkins because I love, a lot of times we have really pretty sayings that come in the paper pumpkin. So paper pumpkin is available in the US and Canada. And I used the Merry Christmas from this, and I also pulled out some other things. So I love Itty Bitty Christmas. If you have that in your stash, it has lots of sayings. But I also love this. It's the most wonderful time of the year. And I love this, but I was trying to find a Christmas, Merry Christmas, that goes with that font. And this is the classic cloche. I hope I'm saying that right. I don't know. Anyways, I loved this little set that layered under the glass dome. And I used it without that too. So I like to get out my sets every once in a while and just see what I have and what I can mix and match. Good morning, Vicki. So this is also a little bit different color scheme than you might use for your Christmas cards. This is Secret Sea, Cloud Cover, and Cherry Cobbler. And I did throw in a little bit of gray. But what do you think? I love this. So, guess what? It's time to vote. So, I hope you all are ready to vote. We are going to decide which card we want to make. Okay. Oh, thank you for all that love. Good morning, Sharon. Thanks for joining us. So we have, let me lay them out so you can see them. I love these. I really, really love these. So we're going to vote which card we want to make. Can you all see? Let me scoot it up a little bit. Oh, thank you, Xana. I love to mix and match my set. So, I don't think I have anything that's current other than the colors on here, but you certainly could mix and match anything that you have in your stash. And if you got things that just came out, there are some nice saying sets, greeting sets for Christmas, that just released in July. But like I said, I'm just kind of waiting. I'm waiting to see what's in the catalog before I decide what I'm adding. That's just a personal preference for myself. But a lot of times I do like to grab those sets that have a lot of different greetings or a lot of different fonts in them, because you can mix them, match them with any images you have. And you can make almost any stamp a Christmas card or a winter stamp. So these are winter cards. I've made them more, they're going to be Christmas cards for me, but whatever holiday you celebrate, or if you need a winter birthday card, these are great too. Thank you. So number 1, we're going to do the arch. Number 2, we're going to do the rectangles. And again, those rectangle dies are called Textured Notes dies, and the arches are Everyday Arches dies. I meant to look to see if they were in stock. I tell you what, this die set has been selling out like crazy. It comes back in and it sells out within days. So it's extremely popular. But there's something that Stampin' Up! Has now. So if you go online and something's out, you can click to sign up to be notified, okay, that it comes back in. So do that. It works. I have used it on several products that have been out that I wanted, and I get an email and I can go in and buy it as soon as it comes back in. Hello, Jan. How are you? Oh, Xana, yeah, that Jarwin looks really, really cute. I don't have the original set that's already out from the annual catalog that coordinates with that. But that looks so cute. I've seen a ton of cute things with it. Oh, you guys are like unanimous. I really wasn't sure what you would pick. Thank you, Vicky. Oh, I think we're going to do this one. Now, I do have to say, if you wanted this on this card, it works, okay? This could work on both cards. It just might be a little fuller. And don't be afraid to stamp things off where it's not totally on the card. It's okay. So, guess what my next question is? You guys picked the arch card, and I already have it cut. Okay. I already have all my things I need in this envelope right here. Now, this is a layer, so I do have my die cut and emboss machine here because this is a stacked layer, and I'm going to show you how I did that in a minute. But now we need to decide the second thing. Are you guys ready? Do you want to use the cabin set, A, or the Peaceful Evergreens? Yes, Peaceful Evergreens and Christmas Barn set. So let's vote. A, cabin, B, barn. Good morning, Dad. Thanks for joining us. Joan, you ordered too. I ordered Wednesday as well. I'm a little further from Stampin' Up than you are, and mine shipped the same day too. And I was so excited. So A is, we're going to do the cabin, which means we'll just copy this card. And B, we're going to use the stamps that I used on this one. Wow, you guys are like in unison this morning. Everybody is voting for the same things. Well, I love it. Okay, so one more look at this card. You guys know I love making cards with a pop of red. So, I love this. Okay, so I'm going to put that one away for right now. All right, you guys ready to dig in? Okay, so I'm going to keep the colors all the same. And we're going to get busy. So, let me explain about our card here. I just tucked my pieces in an envelope. So I did make a card similar to this, okay, before. It was a trifold card, and it had flowers on it. So I have some components here. I use those everyday arches, and I'm going to tell you the sizes so that you can copy what I'm doing. Okay, so let me grab my dies out here. Okay, this is the largest die, so I call that number 1. This next one, I wanted more blue to show, so I used number 3, okay? This is Secret C cardstock, okay? The dyed through cardstock. This is Cloud Cover two-tone, so I used the light side. Here's the dark side, so if you like it darker, I liked the subtle, I just like the light side. So you choose whatever works best for you. If you don't like this color combo, just sub in the colors that you want. So this is die number 3, right? So largest, third largest. And then this is basic white. And it's die number 4. Okay, so that's what I used. All right. And then I have some connector pieces. Let me toss these off to the side. These are, I think, 3 inches by 2. and they're scored at 1 inch to fold in half. So I'm going to use these to connect my layers, and that's on the back side. Okay. So there's our pieces. Joan, just a little bit. I can't help it. I love this paper, and this is one of the reasons. So the two-toned, if you're not familiar, it is a product that carried over from Close to My Heart to Stampin' Up. And now they're in all the Stampin' Up colors, including the in colors. So there's a true color side, and then there's a light color side. And these are printed. So there are some variations in this paper because it's printed. It isn't dyed. This cardstock is dyed all the way through. All the fibers in this paper are Secret C. This is printed, so the color sits on top, and when you tear it, it has a white core. So that allows Stampin' Up to have one side dark, or what we call the true color, and then a light version. And I love this because it expands our colors and it gives us more variety. So I love it. So, and then I have 4 of these because I stamped the cabin and did a partial die cut. Actually, this is an edge die, so I'll show you that. And then I have this layer that's stamped. So I have 2 that go back here and then 1 on each thing. So are you guys ready to stamp? I just like to sort my things out first. And then I'm going to start stamping. Here's my little connectors. And here's my pieces. Okay. So let me dig in here and get this. So for this card, I used only the Peaceful Cabin. So you can see if you have this set, it has lots of fun dies, and these are edge dies. So it just cuts along, and it cuts along the top. Now there is a cabin die. It doesn't go with the stamp. It's like a standalone die, and there's some standalone tree things too, but we are just going to use the trees, the cabin. I love this little fence that has snow on it, and the little fox. And then I already have this mounted. It is in my stamp positioner because I wanted to make sure I got it fairly straight. Okay, so let's dig in. This shouldn't really take us very long. The only thing that I double layered and cut was this back here. I'm going to bring in I just have a scrap sheet here and my block. So on this one, I used Old Olive to stamp my trees. And you could mix, if you like those, the Peaceful Evergreens better, you could use those. I like these trees because they go with the size of my cabin. Okay, so I just went about halfway up and stamped my trees. What other set has a little fox? There is one, but I'm trying to think of what it is. Because it had a fox and a rabbit. Right? Am I thinking right? Anybody else remember? Feel free to answer in the comments if you know, because I don't know why I cleaned that. Because I know there was one. Okay, so I'm going to stamp I'm going to leave that for a second. And this has trees back here. So I'm going to go ahead and stamp those while I have this out. And I did kind of layer these a little bit, but I'm going to do it just slightly different, I think. I don't know. We'll see. So I'm going to ink this up. And I like to look and make sure I don't have any halos on there. That's right. I stamped. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to stamp this. And I'm not worried about that. That's something is puffed up under there because my cabin's going to cover that. I'm inking this one again. And I'm stamping off. There, so a little bit of a variation. These I just layered all for full force stamping, ink and stamp. And I kind of felt like those two kind of just were too close together, if that makes sense. Okay, now I'm going to stamp with gray granite. So this will become this layer, and I'm not worried about this little thing because I'm stamping my cabin and die cutting it, so that's going to get covered up. So don't worry about that. So let me put my trees away. Vicki, I am trying to think of that. Is there a fox and a deer? There could be. And there probably is. It's just not coming to me right at this moment. I know there's another set with a fox, but I can't think of what it is. And it might be the sleigh set that we had. It's a bigger sleigh than the one that's in the Christmas barn. I'll have to look. So here's my little fox. I'm going to put him right here. Let me know if you can't see something because I wasn't really paying attention. Now I have my little fence here. I want to stamp. So we're going to add some more on that. Here's my middle piece. And I'm just going to stamp my little fence here. And I did that one a little bit further apart. That's okay. Now our cabin. So when I stamp this, I'm going about the middle, okay? So about the middle of that, and we're going to die cut that out. So if you want to stamp down here, if you want a saying, then just kind of make sure that you leave enough room for what you're wanting to stamp down there. I didn't stamp anything down there. So I'm just inking this up, and I'm using gray granite for all of these. I kind of like that color for the snow. And I'm trying to, I know because I've used this set a ton, there's a little die cut pieces in between where these posts are. So I'm trying to center that so that I don't accidentally have that run off the page. It's okay if you do. It's not going to be the end of the world when it die cuts. It'll be all right. So there's my little cabin. So I will dig through my stamps and figure out what set it is, because I just really, I want to say it's Sleigh Ride. I'm just looking really quick because I can't, I don't want to go dig in my sets. No, the Sleigh Ride, or Horse and Sleigh, I'm sorry. That was from last year, the year before, and it had a rabbit. I'm going to have to look. I don't remember. Okay, so this we're going to color and then die cut. This we're going to add some of that light gray granite blends, and we still need to stamp our snowflakes. So this doesn't get snowflakes. I'm stamping the snowflakes in cloud cover, and we do not have a big pad of cloud cover. Now, demonstrators were able to buy it, but it was, customers have to either buy an uninked spot and add your ink refill, or there's a cloud cover ink spot in one of the assortments. So you can still get the color. That's just how you'll have to get it. So I've made my own by buying the uninked spot. These come in a set of 5, and then you just buy an ink refill and put the ink in. And I did a stamping off method, and it made it kind of light, so we'll see. So I'm just adding, this is a little snow flake burst stamp that is in that cabin set. So if you don't have the cabin set and you have an older set, you just want something that does some little snowflakes. And it just has a little variation there. And if you want something lighter or darker, then you can just add that in. So I liked it stamped off. And then here's our little snowy scene. And I'm going to stamp the greeting in that secret C, and it's just going to go right over top of these snowflakes. So put as many on as you like. Make it as busy as you want. Okay, that's where our greeting's going to go. And you can, don't forget to turn your stamp so it has a variation in the pattern. Now this one has probably a little more snowflakes than my original. That's okay. That'll be the mystery of the day. Vicky's asked the question nobody knows the answer to. I am going to look. I feel like there was definitely another set that had a fox in it, but for the life of me, I can't remember what it was. So, and I love little fox stamps, so I probably have it. Okay, so there are our things. Now I'm going to come in, and I have a light crumb cake for my cabin. And I have a light gray granite blends for my snow. I just liked that color with this color scheme. So the blends come in a combo of a light and a dark. Okay, so if you're not familiar with those, I'm going to do the crumb cake first. And I'm not using it to blend. I'm not doing a light and a dark. I'm just coloring this in. I like to use these to color in my images because they have a nice smooth finish. So even though I'm not blending, I'm not doing all that. And this stamp is what they call a distinctive stamp. So it has all the variations and shadows kind of built in to the stamp. I'm going to color and then die cut it. So let's go ahead and do our gray granite. And I'm using this color. It's kind of like a brownish gray. Along the snow. So you can kind of see a little bit of a outline there. And then I want to bring that color down and just, I don't know, make some snow. I just do lines. I'm sure there might be maybe a more technical way to make some snow hills, but that's what I do. And then I use my color lifter, which really just pushes that color through, and I'm kind of smoothing it. So I don't want it to have a hard edge, and that's what I use it for. Plus it lightens, it pushes some of that color through, so it lightens that hard line. Okay, and I don't need to do anything on that one. Excuse me. Now I'm going to add in a little bit here. Just make your snowbanks however you want. I don't really love the X I made there, but I'm going to add a little higher. I'm just going over where I put it, and I didn't do anything extra on that one. And now we're going to do this. I went around my trees. And I created a little bit of ground back here behind my little fox, and I just added a little color on him. So again, using that color lifter to push some of the color through and just kind of smooth the edge so I don't have that hard marker line. Now there is a stamp in the Christmas barn that's a fun, kind of like a footprint or tracks in the snow. You could use that with this set and make some tracks in the snow. Okay, there we have it. All right, I'm going to stamp this, and then I'm going to bring in my die cut machine, and we're going to put this thing together. What do you guys think so far? So like I said, I already have this set up on my stamp positioner. I know that it's straight, and I put a pencil mark where I had my die cut. So because we stuck with the same die cut shape, I already know where to line it up. Google was no help either. Sometimes it's nice because I can just put something in and then Stampin' Up and it will bring it up, even if I don't have the correct name. But I will look and I will get back to you guys on that. Okay, so like I said, I already set this up for my other card, so I just kind of left it as is. I just want to make sure I ink it, and then I'm going to press it. And I try not to press really hard when I have a mixed font, because this scripty font will spread and it will be hard to read. So you'll notice in my original card, oops, it's really dark. It's darker than that. I simply inked it again and stamped again. So that's why I like to use a positioner. So if you have a MISTI, you can do this. There we go. And I like to let that dry for a second. Darker inks sometimes take a little bit to soak in. So if you touch it, it could smear. Okay, so let's see if my die cut machine will fit up here. And I probably could use, let's see, the mini machine is 3 inches. This probably wouldn't fit because, oops, this is an edge die. So that means it just cuts one edge. Grab this out. So it just cuts along the top of the cabin and along what would be the ground, like a hill, and the same with the trees and the same with the fox. So if you really want a layered card, you could do that. I'm not creating a layer of, I mean, it has a couple layers, but this is going to be really bulky when we fold it up to put it in our envelope. So I don't have any dimensionals on here, okay, for that reason. I'm just lining up the top of the cabin. I have a hard time when I'm not right over it. So it'll be okay if it's not perfect, but I do want to pay attention because this has some little cutouts here for where the railings are. So here and on this side. You may be able to find this set. A lot of people sell their stuff, you know, on other websites, or even there's some groups on Facebook. So you could maybe look and find this set. But I think it was a pretty popular set. So if people are like me and they love it, then they might not be getting rid of it. So I do save this. You could use this to tuck under something if you wanted like a half circle look. So there's our little cabin. I do start, when I make a layered card like this, even if I'm die cutting something, I start with the full shape. I just find that easier than trying to die cut this and then go back and match this how I want it. So I like to start with the full shape. Oh, did I get it wet somehow? Somehow that's smeared. I don't know, but look, my cabin covers it up, so I'm not going to worry about it. Oh, you know what? I bet I touched it with my color lifter. Well, don't do that if you're copying me. Okay, so there we have our 3 pieces. Now we're just going to assemble them. And I like to use liquid glue so that I can move these. Thank you. Appreciate the love. I'm sorry, Vicky. Well, you know, if you're crafting in my room, you can use all of these sets. So I'm just adding, sorry, that was out of frame, but I'm just adding liquid glue, and I'm avoiding my areas that are open here. And I'm lining those up. So when you do these, you make sure that you line up the bottom and the two sides so that it lines up on your next layer. And then we're just going to assemble. So I didn't stamp anything else on this. I really think this could be for, like I said, many of the winter holidays, whatever season. Could just be talking about winter as well. There's that layer. Ooh, Joan, the banner dies. Yes. Absolutely. You can use this idea and the connectors with any dies you have. So like let's see, I've used a few different ones recently, but I love the trifold card. It's just a little extra special, you know, and people display their cards. So I like to give people pretty things to display. And you could switch up how these go. If you want your cabin on the front panel, you could definitely change that up in any order that you like. Could put this one at the very back because it has the greeting. I liked it in the middle. So change it up to whatever suits you. Not sure what happened with my arch there. It has a little bit of an edge to it. Maybe I was on the edge of the paper. Okay, so there are our 3 panels. Now, the connectors. Again, the size for these are 3 inches by 2, and I scored it in half at 1 inch. Okay, so this is what's going to hold our card together. You can add a panel to the back if you want to write a message. You could also tuck just a little handwritten note in there on a separate sheet if you don't want it to be stuck to the card. So I used my bone folder on those because these are going to be our moving parts, so I want them to be really crisp. So you could take this panel and add a larger, you know, the next size down, the number 2. You could add a piece of basic white on the back, okay? And I'm going to show you how to connect these, and then I don't have any extra die cuts over here, but you definitely could do that if you want to add a personal message. Maybe you don't want to write on the front. That's fine. Or like I said, you could tuck a little handwritten note that can just be removed from the card. Okay, so this panel, when it moves, this folds. It's kind of like a Z fold, okay? So this folds back, and then this folds up. So I'm going to place this connector like this with my mountain out. So it's going to go like this. It just helps it move easier. So I'm going to put a little glue on here, okay? Use your adhesive that you like. I'm not going to go all the way over to my score line. Okay, I like using liquid because I can adjust it. So I'm going to take this and I'm just eyeballing, okay, where I want it to go. I want it before it curves and not all the way to the bottom. And I don't want it all the way to the score line, okay? So hopefully you could see that. So I didn't put it all the way to the score line. And that's why you don't want that much glue over there. You don't want it to squish out, okay? Now, to put the next panel on, I'm going to flip this over. I'm going to add some more adhesive. Again, don't go all the way to that score line. And I'm going to take my second piece. Make sure that you have your piece on correctly. Here's my second piece. And I'm going to just hold that down a little bit with my finger. And then I'm going to line this up. I want these to line up. So I'm lining up my arches. Make sure they match on all sides. And then I'm going to press that down. So when I open it, they line up perfectly. Now for this one, it's going to, so this folds this way and this folds this way. So I want this, the mountain's going to go, oops, like this, away from me. So the valley is facing towards you. And you're just going to, I'm just going to eyeball that they are similar heights. It doesn't have to be exact. But you want it to be pretty close, okay? So I'm going to put a little adhesive on. Again, I'm not getting close to that score line. And I like to do this from the back. You can actually measure it. I think if I look correctly, I'm one line up, so I can use my grid to kind of make that similar. And I have just a little bit of space. I'm not going all the way to the score line, and I'm going to show you why here in a minute, because it folds up and you need a little room. Flip it over. Add your adhesive on this one. Again, avoid going all the way to the score line, okay? And then here's our last piece. I'm going to turn it upside down. I'm going to make sure it's straight here on all sides. Make sure they're all the same, or your card's going to stand up and be a little wonky, which you might not notice too much, but I think that's pretty good. Now I'm going to fold this over on it. So now we have our moving card. And you want these lined up so they fit in your envelope. Okay. There we go. What do you guys think? So what Vicki was saying, I'm just going to use this as an example. My little half piece here. You could cut another arch and adhere it to this back. Now, when you write, this will be on there. You could put it on before you put your hinge so that you don't write over top of this, or if you don't like that to be visible, you can cover it up with another arch. Okay, and then your personal message can be on the back. Or if you use a light cardstock for your base, you could just write your personal message on it. There we go. What do you guys think? Thank you. I tend to think some of these wow cards look really overwhelming, but when you just break down the steps, they are doable. And I think this is a lot of die cutting. Okay, I did 3 layers on the first 2 and 4 layers on this one because I did a die cut. Now, I could have masked this and stamped, okay, which is what I did on the barn card. I do have 1 double layer on the barn of the white on the barn card as well. But I didn't do this layer on that card. So it just depends on how you like it. So there's my 2 cards. This one I didn't stamp off. I think I like the stamped off so these trees have a little bit of variation there. I love this. Thank you all for joining me for my Christmas card in July. It does fit in a medium-sized envelope, okay? This isn't, this is an extra envelope I had, but this will fit in a Stampin' Up! Envelope, and it is a little thicker. So I didn't add any embellishments. I didn't add any dimensionals. I feel like there's a lot of layers in there when you fold it up. Oh, Deb, I'm so happy. So shop your stash. See what stamp sets you have. If you want to make holiday cards. If you don't want winter cards, see what other stamps you have that you can use the same technique with. So shop your stash. We collect lots of bundles and stamp sets, and we want to be able to use them, right? So here's a look at the other card really quickly. So this one, I didn't do a colored layer behind the white. I did more stamping. This, I used the masking technique. And this is a die cut on top of my other layer. So I hope you have enjoyed this card. Thank you all. Yes, Joan suggested you could just do a double fold. You're right. You could just do a regular card with, you know, just these 2 panels and it folds. You don't have to have a connector, but I like the look of the texture on the dies, and I like the shapes. So if you like to do shaped cards, this is a way that you can use your dies a little bit further, and you just add that little connector piece. Okay, so yes, this card can be left out all winter. So I know it's hard to think of winter when it's 100 degrees out, and it literally is getting there where I'm at. But if you like to get a little jump start on your winter cards or your holiday cards, this is a great option. Thank you for the love, everybody. I appreciate it so much. So let's see, the video will be uploaded to YouTube. So if you're watching on YouTube, thank you for watching. It will be uploaded soon so that you guys can view it again and again, over and over, to see how to make this card. And I will have a blog post that tells you the dimensions so that you don't have to remember those. So thank you all for joining me. Don't forget to shop your stash and use all those things that you have invested in and loved. Oh, you're welcome. Have a wonderful weekend, everyone, and I will see you soon. Bye.